Yeah, recording has been started. Okay, good morning to one and all. A warm welcome to again for the next class of bryophytes. So we have stopped with we have completed of the gametophyte of Markantia in the last previous class. So today we'll continue with that with the sporophyte generation, and then we'll go with the next type study. So just I'm start sharing my screen now. I hope you can see the.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, okay. Right. So we have done with all the vegetative characters and the gametophyte of the Markantia up to fertilization that we have finished. Now we are going moving to the sporophytic generation. Now what is a sporophyte? Can anybody please? What is a sporophyte? Okay, let me tell. So sporophyte is the another generation in the life cycle of bryophytes, where from which the spores are going to be liberated for the for the upcoming next generation or for the development of a new plant body. So this is also a thalloid like plant body which is a dependent. So please remember this point. In bryophytes, the sporophytic generation is dependent on the gametophyte because this is unable to prepare its own food material. That's why it will depend on the gametophyte. So after the formation, that is after the fertilization, that is after the formation of the zygote will undergo several nuclear as well as the cellular division, which is a single zygote is a single cell, diploid single cell. Now that zygote will undergo repeated divisions and result in the formation of, and it undergo morphogenesis and all that, and result in the formation of this sporophyte. So one point is sporophyte is dependent, it is attached to the gametophyte, and it is a the next generation in the life cycle. And another important point is zygote is the starting cell for sporophytic generation. So all these points please you can note down. Zygote is a starting cell for the development of sporophyte generation, whereas the spore is the starting cell for the development of a gametophyte. So these points you are supposed to be remembered. Fine. Now, so when we talk about the structure of the sporophyte in Markantia, you can see here. In Markantia, the sporophyte is embedded. So there is a difference here in all the three type studies in the bryophyte. Markantia, Anthoceros and Polytrichum. So you can see the presence of embedded sporophyte in Markantia. That is, it is developed inside the gametophytic tissue. It won't come out. It will be embedded inside the gametophytic tissue. So that is an important point. Now, when we talk about the structure of the sporophyte here, we can see the sporophyte is divided into three main regions. One is the foot, the basal part, what we call it as the foot. Second thing is small elongated structure, what we call it as seta. And the another most important point here, this is called as the capsule. So foot, seta and capsule, these are the three parts which together forms the sporophyte. Next, this complete sporophyte of Markantia is going to be surrounded by a protective covering. We call it as the calyptra. You can see this is a protective layer of the cells which we call it as the calyptra, which gives protection from the outer environmental conditions. Next important point also here is we can see the presence of, apart from calyptra, we have already studied in the structure of archegonium or in the archegoniophore, all the archegonia, they are surrounded by a protective layer which is called as the perigynium. Okay, so as this sporophyte is developed from the archegonia, we can also see the presence of the perigynium also. Now, next comes to the structure of the sporophyte here. Foot is always the basal part of the sporophyte, which helps in attachment or anchoring of the sporophyte to the gametophytic tissue, and it is going to absorb the water and the nutrients from the gametophyte. So foot is always plays a role of absorbing the water and the mineral nutrients from the gametophytic tissue. Whereas the seta, it is somewhat elongated, which is going to connect the foot and the capsule region. So seta region is always help in conduction. So conduction, that means to say for transporting from the foot region to the capsule. The seta will help in conducting or transporting the food and the mineral, that water and the mineral nutrients to the developing capsule. So conduction part is always played by the seta region of the sporophyte, whereas absorption is the role played by the foot part of the sporophyte. Next comes to the capsule. So this capsule is a very important part of the sporophyte, which is going to consist of the sporogenous tissue inside the capsule, which is very important in developing or in the producing of the spores. Okay, so we call them as the sporogenous tissue, or we can call it as the spore mother cells, which will undergo the spore mother cells. So the entire sporophyte is a diploid. Remember, it is developed from zygote. Zygote is a diploid, so it is also a diploid structure. So the sporophyte mother cells or the sporogenous tissue, all the cells are diploid. So definitely it will undergo reduction division and results in the formation of haploid spores. You can see here. Upon maturity within the capsule, spores are going to be formed by the reduction division or by the meiosis of the spore mother cells. Right. Now, apart from this, some of the cells of the spore mother cells, even they are going to produce some long elongated or filamentous cells. We call them as elaters. So these are called as the elaters, long elongated multicellular structure. These are also haploid. So some spore mother cells will develop into the spores, haploid spores, whereas some of them are formed with the help, which are called as the elaters. So these elaters, they are hygroscopic in nature. That means they will absorb the water from the environment, and through these elaters, it help in the dispersal of the spores from the capsule region. So the structures developed inside the capsule helping in dispersal of the spores, they are called as elaters, or they are hygroscopic in nature. Now, next important point is the spore. So now the spores are formed, they are released or dispersed into the surrounding environment. So now a spore is always a single or unicellular structure, uninucleate, and we can see the development of all the cellular organelles and the cytoplasm and everything. So spore is always the starting cell of a gametophytic generation. That is the next adult plant. It becomes the starting cell. Zygote is a starting cell for sporophyte. Spore is the starting cell for the gametophytic generation. Now spore, it is going to be surrounded by a thick wall. We all know that it is an exine. and the inner layer which is called as the intine. Now all these spores whatever are going to develop, so from each spore mother cell 4 spores are going to be released by reduction division. So out of those 4 spores, 2 spores will develop into the male thallus and the 2 spores will develop into female thallus. So as in the starting only I told you, Marchantia is a dioecious thallus. Male and the female thallus are separate. So 2 spores will develop 2 male thallus and 2 remaining spores will develop into 2 female thallus. Now, next we can in the Marchantia, due to this differentiation, it is called as heterospory. That means all these spores are not developing into a single thallus. 2 are differentiated into male and 2 are differentiated into the female. So that condition is called as heterospory condition. Now, next it comes to the life cycle of the Marchantia. You can look about here. So this is the female, male thallus, antheridial and the disc-shaped antheridial disc is going to be developed where antheria are present. This is the archegonia, female thallus developing the archegonia 4 and the archegonial disc, so which develop the archegonia. This is the male sexual organ antheridia. Antheridia are developing the antherozoids, which are biflagellated. And antherozoids, you can see they are long and elongated. And inside the archegonia, we can see the development of a female gamete, what we call it as egg. So these both are going to undergo fertilization, results in the formation of a zygote. So till the development of zygote, this everything will comes under gametophytic generation. Now zygote, upon germination or upon division, it is developing into a sporophyte. So sporophyte here, I told you, it is going to have a bulbous or foot region, a small seta and the capsule. So from the capsule, these are the spore mother cell which will undergo meiotic division and forming a spore tetrad. Spore tetrad means what? 4 number of spores. Now out of these 4 number of spores, half of these spores are going to germinate and produce a male plant and the remaining half will undergo germinate and produce a female plant again. So till the formation of the spore, that entire cycle is called as here the sporophytic generation. So in the bryophytes, gametophytic generation and the sporophytic generation, they both are going to alternate with each other. So common point is in all the bryophytes, we can see the alternation of generations. Okay. And here the life cycle is represented as diplohaplontic life cycle because the spore is the starting cell of the gametophyte. So spore mother cell is a diploid. So diplohaplontic and all the gametophytic generation is the haploid. So diplohaplontic life cycle is the life cycle which is developed in the Marchantia. The life cycle is regarded as. So with this, we have ended with the Marchantia type study. Yes. So any doubts in this Marchantia sporophytic generation? Any point to be repeated, please? You can. Yes, students, please, if you have any doubts in this, you can just unmute yourself and ask me. Or otherwise, we'll move on to the next type study today. Or you can put in your chat box any question, any doubts here in this particular topic. Okay then, fine. So just stop sharing here. Right. So we'll go with And another type study in the bryophyte, that we call it as the anthoceros. Right. So I hope you can see the slide over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, another type study in bryophyte, that is anthoceros. So when we look upon the classification of anthoceros or the systematic position, anthoceros comes under the subdivision or the class. So already we told you that Bryophyta division is divided into 3 classes. One is called as the first one, which is called as Hepaticopsida. Second class is called as Anthoceratopsida, and the third class is called as Bryopsida. So Anthoceros is the genera which comes under the class Anthoceratopsida, the second class of the bryophyte classification. And this is the only class, only order, and only a single genera included in this one. So class is called as Anthoceratopsida. It belongs to the order Anthocerotales, family Anthocerotaceae, and the genus Anthoceros. Now, so we'll go with the occurrence of the Anthoceros. So it also grows in the moist soil. So that's the general character. What we have discussed, it always Anthoceros or the common bryophytes, they always grows in a damp and shady places. Now, when we look about the species of the Anthoceros, Anthoceros erectus, Himalayensis, and Cambensis. So these are the 3 important species of the Anthoceros which are commonly found in Indian region. Now, so when we look into the gametophyte of the Anthoceros, even Anthoceros is also a thalloid plant body. So the important point here regarding the gametophyte of Anthoceros is, just a minute, I'm just annotate. Okay. The Anthoceros thallus is a rosette-like thalloid plant body. Rosette. Whereas Markantia, it is a liver, the lobes, liver-like structure. But whereas Anthoceros is a rosette-like plant. Rosette in the sense, we can observe a rose flower, how the petals are arranged in a perfect circular manner, expanded in a round circular manner. In the same way, in the Anthoceros, all the complete branches or the lobes, whatever we are talking about, they are arranged in a circular manner. So hence the thalloid is represented as a rosette gametophyte or rosette thalloid-like plant body. Next, another important point here is the margins of the thallus is wavy. So these 2 points are very, very important in identification of the Anthoceros. Next. Okay. Next we'll go with the right. Now, another important, most important point of the Anthoceros is in the internal structure. We can see in the anatomy, Anthoceros consists of, or it shows the symbiotic association with the blue-green algal member, which we call it as nostoc. So inside the thallus embedded, we can see certain mucilaginous cavities. That is, the empty cavities filled with mucilage in which the nostoc colonies will be growing, which is a blue-green algal member. So it shows the symbiotic association. Now, when we look into the internal structure, so you can see here, this is the internal structure of the Anthoceros gametophyte. So here this also consists of the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis when we take the transverse section. And the complete thallus here, it is green in color. So in Markantia, we told you that it is a dorsiventral thallus. That is, the upper dorsal surface is different from the lower surface. That is, in the color wise also we can differentiate. But in the Anthoceros, the dorsal surface as well as the ventral surface, it is same. The color of it is same. It consists of the chloroplast for assimilation of the food material. There is no such differentiation at all. So we can call it also as the isobilateral also. Right. Now, inside, this is a complete mesophyll tissue in the central part of the thallus internal structure. We can see some presence of air chambers or the mucilaginous cavities in the mesophyll tissue. So, with the identification by this, we can identify the anthoceros. Anthoceros is basically the internal structure is consisting of these mucilaginous cavities or the empty air chambers, which will accommodate the blue-green algae or the nostoc colonies will be present in these mucilaginous cavities. So you can look into here. This is a mucilaginous cavity having the presence of the filamentous nostoc colonies. So this association, Anthoceros is a bryophyte, whereas nostoc is an algae. Both are different from one another, but they both are living together. So that we call it as symbiotic association. Now, next comes to the, so that is regarding the Anthoceros. So you look into the structure of this. The Anthoceros thallus here, you can see the margin of the thallus is wavy in outline. It is isobilateral, that is dorsal as well as the ventral surface are same with one another, and it consists of certain air pores also, and internally we can see the presence of the nostril colonies. That's it. Now, next we'll go with the vegetative reproduction point of view. So that is regarding the gametophyte, the structure of a anthoceros. Right. Another important point here is even just like our Markantia, even anthoceros are going to develop rhizoids from the ventral side or from the lower epidermis. So here we can observe only a single type of rhizoids, which are smooth types, smooth and unicellular rhizoids are developed from the anthoceros. But whereas in Markantia, we came across two types of rhizoids over there. One are smooth walled rhizoids and another one are tuberculate rhizoids. So please remember the difference between the Markantia rhizoids and the anthoceros rhizoids. So that makes you the difference here. Anthoceroslo, we can see only a single type of rhizoids, which are very smooth and unicellular. Whereas in Markantia, smooth rhizoids, along with that, we can see tuberculate rhizoids. Okay, fine. Now, we're moving into the, 1 second. Now, we are moving into here the vegetative, the reproduction point of view in Anthoceros. So the vegetative reproduction here, as we all know that by the vegetative thallus, when the thallus is going to death and decay, it will give rise to the new plant upon generation or with the help of tubers also. So what are tubers? These are the structures which are going to store a more amount of food material in them. Now these tubers, they are developed on the thallus, either on the margins or on the surface of the thallus. So these tubers, when they detach from the main thallus, so they will germinate by utilizing the food material in that. It will divide and produce into an adult thallus. So as there is no involvement of any sexual organs, we are just here a new plant is developed from the main vegetative thallus itself. So we are calling it as vegetative reproduction, or either by gemme also, but gemme is very rare in Anthoceros. It's only by tubers or by the growing apices, that is by the apical buds. Right. Next, okay, so you can see here, these are all the tubers. So the margins of the thallus, we can see these are the one which are going to be developed when these tubers, when they detach from the main thallus. So they will fall on the substratum. On the substratum, it will utilize the food material present in it and germinate and gives rise to a new plant. So these are the gemma. In the species like Anthoceros glandulosus or Formosae or fusiformis, they are going to develop these spore producing organs which are called as gemme in the gemme cups. Next, by the persistent growing apices, that is from the margins of the apical regions when they become dry. So from that also the plant may give rise to a new plant also. So these are all the vegetative type of reproduction. Now when we go for the sexual reproduction, so you can observe here the beautiful picture. This is the Anthoceros thallus, you can see. Okay, the rosette, you can observe the thallus over here. Okay, it is not like lobed, just like our Markantia. It is not like that. You can see a beautiful round structure, the thallus, but wavy in the outline. So you can see this is a thallus. So from which the sporophyte is emerging out in the form of a horn. So Anthoceros commonly represented as hornworts. So you can observe here, they are just appearing like the horns of the deer or the buffaloes or the cattle. Okay. So due to the structure of the sporophyte in this manner, they are commonly regarded as hornworts. So I will write here Anthoceros is commonly called as, this one is not working properly. It is hornworts. Whereas Markantia, what does it call as?
Liverworts.
Yes, very good. Markantia is called as the liverworts. Right. The next one, here we are going with the sexual reproduction of the Anthoceros. Now, when we talk about the sexual reproduction here, so vegetative reproduction, just now I told you, either by the tuber development or by the gemme. Now, when we talk about the sexual reproduction, Anthoceros is a monoecious. It may be monoecious or it may be dioecious, depending upon the plant species. Okay, so when we look into the Anthoceros himalayensis, it is a dioecious plant, whereas male and female, they both are separate from one another. But majority of the Anthoceros, they are monoecious. That is Antheridia and Archegonia, they develop on the same thallus. Yes, ma, any doubt? Yeah, they develop on the same thallus. So that's why we represented it as a monoecious thallus. And one more important point here regarding the sexual reproduction is the sexual organs, that is Antheridia and the Archegonia, they are embedded in the thallus. That means they are present inside the thallus, unlike Markantia. In Markantia, what I told you, the sexual organs are coming out of the thallus and they are born or they are present on the stalk. We call it as anthridiophore and the archegoniophore. But whereas in Anthoceros, these are developed inside the thallus, that is antheridia and the archegonia. So they are considered as the embedded sexual organs. Okay, so I'll stop up to this point today and just stop sharing. We'll stop up to this point. We'll continue with the structural, that is antheridia and archegonial structure in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so the time is only 4 minutes left over. So please, any queries or any doubts, questions, please you can. Yes, students, participants, please. If you have any doubts, if you want to be repeat again, you can put it in the chat box or you can just unmute yourself and ask me.
Madam, I have a doubt, madam.
Yes, please.
Madam, spore is haploid in condition, madam.
Yes, spore is a haploid.
Madam, spore mother cell is in which condition, madam?
Spore mother cell will be diploid because spore mother cell in the capsule, entire capsule, that is the sporophyte, is a diploid. Why? Because it is developed from a diploid zygote. Yes or no?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah, zygote is a diploid, 2n condition. The zygote
Yes,
will undergo organogenesis or it undergo morphogenesis and develops into the sporophyte. Okay, where is the spore developed? Capsule. So inside the capsule, sporogenous tissue, spore mother cells, they all will be diploid. So that diploid spore mother cell will undergo meiosis. Meiosis is a reduction division where the spores are going to be, excuse me, spores will undergo, spore mother cells will undergo meiosis and develop into the haploid spore.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Still any more doubts? Okay then. Right. So please note down whatever the points where I am stressing, because the questions will always be not direct. They will be in a comparison with the another genera or another species, or mainly focus on what are the new points are representing to that particular thallus. Okay, for example, I'm talking about Anthoceros. So just focus on how the thallus is, how it is compared with the Markantia thallus. What are the differences in the Markantia thallus and the Anthoceros thallus? You can just focus on like that. And what about the sexual organs? How the sexual organs are in the Markantia? They are coming out of the thallus. But whereas in Anthoceros, they are embedded in the thallus. That is, they are developed inside the gametophytic tissue. They are not exposing out. Okay. And another point is that in the Markantia thallus, when we talk about the anatomy, in the anatomy, the mesophyll tissue is differentiated as assimilation zone and the storage zone. Okay, that makes the difference between the Anthoceros and the Markantia. In the Anthoceros, the complete tissue is mesophyll. There is no differentiation as such. Am I clear? And one more point is, in the thallus internally of Anthoceros, that's a very, very important, shows